Well, I'm pressing record. If they start barking, you're gonna... Oh, or whining. That's Indiana.
Whining and barking. What do you guys... You got something on lock? Say hi.
Oh, it's so annoying.
It's kind of sweet. Sweet little bit.
She just whines at everything. There's not even anything wrong. She's sitting on the couch with Mark and Henry, and there's nothing wrong. She ate dinner. Stop putting it up to her face. It's an annoying sound. She just she just whines all the time. She makes such weird noises.
Well, she's part husky and coyote.
Yeah. Anyways, this is the bonus episode, and I'm doing it with Mark, if you couldn't already tell. And this is the bonus episode for episode 37.
30 several?
What are you doing? Well, Mark just got up and walked away, so maybe he just really didn't want to do this. Oh, you know, it's okay. It's not. He just went to get paper towels because we both have a cocktail, and he likes to put them on a paper towel because I have glass on my very 70s looking
Very
coffee
70s.
table. Yeah, very 70s. But I found it. It was free, and it's very cool. Now I'm gonna have to post a picture of it. But you know what makes more noise? That does. The dog's fighting. We're gonna have to start this all over now.
Should we put them outside?
You should put them outside. I'm going to explain the drinks, the paper towel thing. I mean, I think I explained it pretty well. But you know that the ice clinking around makes more noise. They're going to keep fighting. Just put them outside. They get rowdy after dinner. If only this was video, it would be way more entertaining. All right, the dogs are outside, so now we can do this quietly. And if they bark, it'll just bother the neighbors and not our recording. I don't know. We don't really have anything to talk about the part 2. I just know, that you enjoy doing bonus episodes. So I'm letting you do it. Stop making your voice so deep and weird. That's not really your voice.
This is how I talk all the time.
But jeez. I think we got some more feedback about you being on the episode. I, of course, don't have any of those DMs or Apple reviews in front of me, but people seemed to understand that it was a little bit chaotic and also seemed to think it was kind of fun. So
it was a little bit crazy.
It
took some time.
It was. I mean, my favorite part, which was not my favorite part at the time, but my favorite part is what I posted on social media that was like, I'm talking about something, I don't even remember what it was, and Jenna's like, you said nooners? Are they having nooners? And Jenna goes, 5 p.m.ers? And then you both just kept like playing off of each other, just having your own little podcast conversation in the, background when I'm trying to tell a damn story.
I know. It's kind of funny. And we were talking about, he just goes away for like hours and comes back and he's like, oh, I brought some McDonald's. And Jenna's like, oh, a quarter pounder? She's like, I'd be fine. I don't care what he was doing.
Yeah, she loves McDonald's. So I think we'll do it again, but as I've said like multiple times, it'll just have to be with less alcohol.
Just a few less drinks.
Yeah, it was Sunday, which is usually a very like...
I had the Sunday scaries, so I needed a cocktail bad.
Oh my gosh, there's never a day that you don't.
Well, not on Mondays.
So I thought we would just talk about some other random things. I'm not sure what.
What about the part when Jenna's all, isn't it annoying when Mark knows things?
Yeah, I cut out, there's one part where I cut it out because I got so mad at you, and when I was listening to it, editing it, I was like, ooh, I sound like really angry, like a real bitch here. But it was annoying. We were like in hour 3 of recording, and you and Jenna were like having a party in the background, and I'm just trying to get through like a murder story. So... it is annoying when you know things also. You're always guessing things ahead of time. I know we've already talked about that, so I don't want to keep repeating ourselves, but you're quite good. What did we watch the other night?
Was it one
The
of
Conjuring?
one of your scary movies?
Yeah.
By the way, folks or people out there.
Listeners.
Oh, yeah. They're listeners.
Yeah.
Listen up. It's going to be Halloween, but it's not October yet. But it's scary movie time in this household. So I'm like, what do you want to watch? She's all, let's watch another scary movie.
That's right. I
So
said,
I've seen a lot.
I said a scary movie
week.
every night until Halloween. And so we've watched The Conjuring 1 and 3. We didn't watch 2. And we watched Insidious 2, but not 1. And we watched Cobweb, which you have to pay for on Amazon with Lizzie Kaplan. Remember, like, I really like her. It like fell flat for me.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, I didn't love
about all
it.
of those movies.
Yeah, no, you didn't. You liked him. Oh, but the whole point of this was to say that we were watching one of those movies, which, okay, granted they are a little bit predictable, but you've never seen any of them. And the whole time you're like, oh, I bet it's him. I bet the ghost is in him or the demon's in him. And I was like
in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And also too, it's annoying, but I will be like,
it is annoying.
I'll
Thank
say
you.
exactly what they're going to say.
Yeah, that's very irritating.
It's kind of predictable, those scary movies.
Well, buckle up because we got 6 more weeks of them.
OMG. Is there, I guess there's enough movies to fill that time.
Of course there are. And if it's not going to be scary movies, then it'll be a scary TV show. I mean, it's that or the Gilmore Girls. So, which he did.
Scary movies, please. Scary movies. I can watch the most violent thing. Just
No, I
stay
don't
off
like
of
that violent stuff. No, I told him that Gilmore Girls will grow on him once we get into
It will not.
later seasons. Oh, okay. You love Desperate Housewives.
Only because I get to watch it and then tell you exactly what's going to happen, and it really annoys you. So it's kind of fun, you know?
All right, let's move on. I want to know from listeners, when is it too early to decorate for Halloween? Halloween's my favorite holiday. If you didn't already know that, I'm sure I've said that a bunch of times. Like when we were younger in Chicago, our parents used to, they loved Halloween. So we would decorate a lot, and not cheesy decorations, scary decorations.
And super serious, haunted houses and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
So we had for a while, we had an unfinished basement. So it was kind of creepy already. And my dad worked in TV. And so one of his best friends was the art director, I want to say, or the creative director of the TV commercials they would do. And so he came over. His name was Alan. And
Marcus?
no, his last name is escaping me. But anyways, he would come over, and his wife, and they came over for a couple weeks leading up to Halloween. And they constructed this haunted tunnel through our basement in Chicago. They took metal, piping. It probably wasn't piping because it was bendable. So I don't know. Metal something.
PVC.
Yeah, something like that. And they but they bent it into a tunnel shape. So it was they built a skeleton.
tunnel.
Yeah, they built a tunnel, but then they draped it in black tarp. And then the tunnel would twist and turn and make S shapes through the basement. And then in each crevice, where it turns in that turn.
In a 90-degree angle, there was an issue.
Yeah, but it's not. There's no 90-degree angles in an S. It's
Okay.
it's like a
Cul-de-sac.
curve. Yeah, and they would cut a hole in the tarp and then designed a scary scene right behind there, somebody sitting in a chair with the TV on, but it's all blurry, and then that person sitting in the chair had a axe in their head.
Your dad's W2 forms on the other side. Everybody's like, oh, shit.
And then you would walk through and you'd look in there, and then somebody would jump out. I mean, we saved chicken bones for so long because they hung real chicken bones at the entrance, kind of like streamers almost, streamers hanging down, but it was all chicken bones tied on strings.
You guys ate a lot of chickens.
Yeah, we ate a lot of chicken. It was really fun. Anyways, I'll try, and we have
Were any of them hot wings? So they're spicy, scary. You know? It's blue cheese dripping from them.
All those home videos I have, I don't think we have any of that on home video, which is so sad, but we bet we have some pictures in one of these.
Maybe because your dad saw them and there was figures in there and he's like, whoa.
Oh, it was really haunted.
Yeah, it was really haunted.
I'm going to find pictures in some of the photo albums I have, and I'll have to post them. But I grew up loving Halloween. And so last year, Mark was not living here. You were?
I was not.
No. And so I threw a Halloween party all by myself.
I was here and I helped.
And it was great. It wasn't scary, but it was great. And
I was freaked out.
and I have a lot of decorations that I acquired last year for this party, and I want to put them up now. And I'm wondering, when is it too early to put up Halloween decorations? Because I feel differently about Halloween than Christmas. I think that Christmas decorations can't go up until after Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Like that, let's get through one holiday before we get to the next. There's no holidays between now and Halloween. So it's kind of like fall time if we lived somewhere that wasn't blisteringly hot always. And so it seems like reasonable to put up a couple of scary decorations.
Well, I think that this is what my opinion is. Like, start throwing a couple pumpkins out, like little pumpkins, like little gourds and stuff. Like,
yeah, let's do
start
that.
off slow. Like, I don't need like a huge like
spider web in the corner.
Spider web in the corner right now.
Okay,
you know?
okay, I can deal with that. And then by the last week in September, we're going full-fledged.
Well, you will. I will just deal with it.
Right. Oh my gosh.
But I told you we've been watching like, scary movies, so I'm just gonna like build some mechanical like devices to like creak open the door in the middle of the night. I'll know what's happening. She'll be like, "Oh my god, freaked out."
I want to know what our listeners' opinion on that, and then what are your guys' favorite fall traditions? And I would love to know everybody's favorite scary movies, because I mean, mine are classics: Scream, Poltergeist. For some reason, I love Halloween H2O, which is weird because it's awful. But I don't know. I like
What's the theme? I don't know what it is.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's a theme for Halloween. But
Yeah.
I just think it's
Hocus Pocus, although I wasn't crazy about the second one. I don't know. I like
it's not really a scary movie.
I know, but I like scary movies. But what I like better is movies that take place at Halloween, in like towns where the leaves are changing and everybody has pumpkins on their front porch, like those
and
type of movies.
Murders happening.
And there's murders happening. So if anybody has any suggestions, I'm always looking for new scary movies and Halloween movies. So please send those in. What are you watching on TV right now? I mean, I know we've been watching scary movies at night.
I mean, just nothing but scary movies. That's it. That's all I'm watching. Yeah.
No, you've been watching something today when you got home from work early and I was working.
Yeah, it's like an Apple show called Foundation.
Is that the one Jenna watched also?
No, I think she watched Invasion,
Oh.
which I also like kind of watch. It's like,
Are they the same thing?
no, they're completely different. Like,
Okay.
Foundation's like space future business, and
Sounds
it's
like Game of Thrones when I'm just passing through the living room and hear it in the background.
But it's weird, like passes through time or whatever. I mean, it's not anything great. It just, I like a sci-fi show. I always
Yeah, you
have.
do.
So like, it's just like, I put it on, like, kind of watch it and stuff. It's not
X-Files is kind of scary. Maybe we could watch some of those.
I love the X-Files.
So do I. What's your most annoying habit?
I don't know. If I knew it, I probably wouldn't do it.
That's not true. I tell you things that are annoying all the time, and you just
Probably that I'm I'm kind of a nitpicker, and I also like kind of a control freak. So like when we're cooking and shit, I'm like, are those onions chopped to the perfect proportion? That's my. You don't even have to ask.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's your most annoying, but I will say when we first started dating, and you'd be like, "Can I show you something?" But that's the difference. That just hit me right now, because the other night you said something to me like, "Is that how you're going to do that?" or something, and I was like, shut the hell up. This is my dish that I'm cooking. Let me cook it. And I realized that in the past, when you would do that early on, you'd be like, can I show you something about the tomatoes? You mind if I show you something? And then I'd be like, no, sure. And you're like, if you chop them like this, you get a little bit of a better chunk to, and I was like, cool. But so there's a big difference between saying, can I show you something? Or can I help you with that? Or something like that. And then being like, is that how you're going to do it?
Well, because I've showed you so many times, I'm like, did you forget? How did you forget? Do I need to make like the HelloFresh? Do I need to make the HelloFresh thing? It's like, how to chop an onion?
Okay.
Well, it's just like, it's sweet, but you're just random. You're a little more random, You're
I'm a little more flighty.
not just more random about it.
About my chopping?
Well, just, yeah, exactly. It's like,
And my cooking, I don't put on timers. I just guesstimate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, is the oven on fire? You're all, I'm all, did you set a timer? You're all, it's fine. I'm all, it's on fire. That's the problem.
Anyways, this is not a relationship podcast, so let's move on. What's the best type of cheese?
Ooh.
One type.
One cheese?
Yeah, and it's got to be quick because nobody wants to hear us thinking.
For me, it's probably Gouda. I love it. There's just Manchego.
Fontina.
Fontina.
It's my favorite ever. and it's like never very affordable. It's like it's an expense. It's not expensive, but it's like more expensive than a block of like, Kraft cheddar. Yeah. But it's really good. If anybody's not had Fontina, that's a good one. It's like
Yum.
delicious. Or that drunken goat. It's like a hard goat. It's not goat's cheese. I don't know. My mom used to get it from Trader Joe's. It was very good.
I don't know how we're on cheese, but
I just have random things.
Now it's
I just have
cheesy.
random things. Oh, I did want to tell everybody. Last time, I think the last bonus episode, I recommended some podcasts. I can't remember what they were now, but I'm always listening to podcasts when I swim or walk or drive, and clean. And I actually like podcasts that are pretty different from our podcasts. I don't listen to that many like kind of unscripted conversational podcasts. I tend to listen to more like documentary style podcasts, I guess. And so I came across this one called The Opportunist. It's been out for a while because there's, I think, 8 seasons, and each season is focuses on a different kind of crime. So I listened to season 7, which focuses on 2 programs, Challenger and Summit Quest, that are called wilderness therapy programs in Utah. And they're kind of promoted as a way to help struggling teens. But in the first episode, you learn that in 1990, a girl named Michelle Sutton attended Summit Quest and died.
Summit Quest sounds. What year was this?
1990.
I guess it kind of makes sense of like stupid 80s shit. Summit Quest. Is there a mountain involved?
Yes, they're in Utah. And I mean, I did when I was younger Outward Bound, so I kind of was thinking it was like that, but it's not at all. Once you like get into this and hear about how these kids are treated, it's insane. It costs parents, it's anywhere from like 60 to 90 days that the kids go on this. It costs parents like between $12,000 and $20,000, and it's promoted as like kind of like as Outward Bound was. Like it's going to be an adventure. You're going to get to rediscover yourself, and there's going to be
like baskets and stuff.
Therapy involved, and it'll be hard work and hiking and camping out and stuff. But like it'll be good. And Outward Bound was like that. Like it was hard. We hiked a lot. We whitewater rafted. We slept outside. We didn't shower for a month. It was making our own food. It was exhausting, and it was also awesome. And the counselors were great, and it was wonderful. Most of the kids who went on it, like, this isn't a weight loss thing at all in any way. Lost anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds while they were there. They were given Vegemite and...
A Vegemite sandwich?
No, just Vegemite and
they didn't have bread with it.
like dried peas.
Yum.
And they were given 2 quarts of water a day for drinking, showering, and cooking food. That's all they got. And they were in the Utah desert and mountains, hiking 15 miles a day. And
2 quarts of water, that's just abuse, because like you need more water than that.
Right. Well, so Michelle died of dehydration. And she continued to say, I'm dying. Something's wrong. I'm dying. And the counselors were like, you're fine. And actually, if you complained, the counselors would make it worse. They'd make you like either hike just in your underwear or sleep out in the cold in your underwear. I remember
But this was for delinquent kids, right? Like
not just delinquent, like struggling teens, like kids who are just having a hard time. It doesn't have to be like it's not like kids who are going to be, you can't do this instead of going to juvenile detention. It wasn't like that serious.
It
it's like kids who ditch school all the time or who are being rebellious or who are talking back, And I mean, it blew. I've been fascinated by it the whole time I've listened. It's unbelievable. And I just got to the last episode, and this isn't really spoiling anything, but at the end of the last episode
we know she died.
Well, they tell you that in the first episode, and then more people die. And at the end of the series, this season, the host, who I really like the way that she tells the story, she says that in the past, 10 or 20 years, 175 kids have died on these wilderness therapy programs that are marketed and touted as being like to help your kid, but they're a con. They're a
But
money grab.
But there's multiple ones, obviously. Like, I don't know how many there are, but that's a lot of people that die on like a
because there's
venture
no
quest.
regulations. Utah has no regulations, and even after
No, what? So I can start one in Utah and like no reggies.
no, now they passed laws like back then after
that you
two
have to like
kids,
give water to kids.
but it didn't matter. Like it kept happening. It kept
I
happening.
I love the 90s.
It was shocking. This one guy who went on, I can't remember if it was Challenger or Summit Quest. He was 11, and after like 30 days, he was like, "I'm gonna die out here. Like this is awful. There's no communication with anybody. You are." Michelle, when she died, they were 90 miles from the closest town. 90 miles. And
Shit.
so these like this boy, I can't remember his name. He was 11 at the time. And another kid, they were like, we got to get out of here. And so they like took the job of going to look for firewood, and they decided they were going to run away, and they didn't have water or anything because they were out looking for firewood, but they were like, it'll be better. We got to find something. And they ran away and ran 30 miles.
I imagine most of it was walking.
Well, I don't mean they ran.
They traveled.
They traveled, thank you, 30 miles and got to the town of St. George, maybe, in Utah. That was like the closest town usually. Michelle actually died in Arizona. They had just like crossed over the border. But this little boy, he was 11 years old, and they got to like a service road and flagged somebody down. They were like, we're being abused. And the truck driver took them to the police, and the police put them in the car and drove them back out to the desert.
We're going to call your parents.
And dropped them back off at Summit Quest with their group. Like, I'm not doing it justice, but like, it is a mind-blowing story to hear the torture and how this went on for years and how many kids died. Another kid died from dehydration. Lots of kids have died, but they specifically talk about like Michelle and this one other kid. His last name was Bacon. I remember.
Like Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, but his
Love
first
the
name wasn't
bacon.
Kevin. But I really recommend it. It fascinated me. So it's called The Opportunist. The season I listened to was season 7. I also listened to season 8, which was good, but this one just like blew my mind.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Like, I could understand if you're like at a summer camp or something like that.
You have a
you're
fall or
you're
something.
a little kid. You don't
Yeah.
want to be there, and you're like, this sucks. You'll say anything to anybody. But the fact that he had to drive him back 30 miles,
Yeah.
it's like,
No.
okay.
And she does get multiple, like a lot of people weren't willing to talk to her who had been on these programs, but she does end up getting a handful of people who, I mean, she gets one girl, Amanda, I think, who was in the group with Michelle, and she takes you through that whole last 24 hours before Michelle died. And the most shocking thing to me, well, there was a lot, but I'm just going to say one, is that, you know, Michelle for 24 hours was saying to the counselors, it was like 5 kids and 2 counselors, I need water. And the counselors said, if any of you give her your water, it's her fault that she doesn't have any water left. If any of you give her your water, you won't get water for like the next 3 days. And so none of them could give her water. She started hallucinating.
Yeah, like dying of dehydration.
It's
like,
supposed to be extremely painful.
It's extremely painful, and
Yeah.
there's like obvious signs of it. Like,
oh yeah, her mouth was getting white in the corners.
Yeah, you have a lot of foam, like
She was
like phlegm and stuff like that.
stumbling,
You're hot and cold,
stumbling and tripping. She kept hallucinating, and then it got to a point where she said, "I can't see anything. I can't see," and then she collapsed and died. And when she collapsed, the 2 counselors, a guy and a girl, ran away. Ran away into the woods. Just left into the woods.
What did they do out there? Did they get more firewood or
No,
something?
Michelle died. Well, they didn't know she was dead
who
yet.
was there? Like just them?
Just 2 counselors and 5 kids. And the counselors, as soon as Michelle, they were the ones who kept saying, "You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Stop complaining." And Michelle collapsed at one point. And everybody was like, oh my God. And the 2 counselors saw her collapse and just took off and ran into the woods and were just gone. And so the other 4 kids were like doing CPR, trying to save her. They couldn't. She died right there in front of them. And then they had to figure out what the fuck to do.
Don't give anybody your water in that situation. Keep it all to yourself.
Well, I'm not going to say what they did, but it's really good. I spent
Was
a
it
lot
like
of time.
Yellow Jackets?
No, it was not like Yellow Jackets. Don't make fun of it. This was, I mean, it's really,
Not
it's
making fun of it. It seems intense.
It's
you
an
know?
intense, great podcast. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to listen.
And don't go to summer camp.
It's not summer camp. It's
Sounds like
wilderness
summer camp.
therapy program.
Sounds very therapeutic.
I don't really know. I don't really have much else. What is something that you don't mind waiting for?
Nothing. Literally zero.
Mm-hmm. You're about as impatient as I am.
Actually, the one thing I don't mind waiting for is like when you go to dinner and it's like a nice restaurant. You're like, waiting for dinner because like you're having a drink and stuff. It's almost like let it sit for a little while.
Yeah, that's true.
The atmosphere,
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, how long is it taking? Yeah.
I think that you generally don't mind waiting for dinner because no matter how early we try to eat, you like pre-dinner activities. And so do I. But you like a pre-dinner cocktail, a little snack, an appetizer, sitting outside and talking. That's why half the time we don't eat until 9 o'clock because you just want to like chit chat and enjoy. It's like an overly extended cocktail hour, which I'm not criticizing. I enjoy it as well. But
it's just, you get off work and you're like, I want to like, they call it the winding down. Like I like to wind down.
well, you wind down on the couch by falling asleep. But then when like 5 o'clock hits, you're like, let's, we'll chop some stuff and get it ready. We'll have a cocktail. We'll sit outside and chit chat.
It's all winding down.
It's all winding down.
You better watch out. I have some summer camps that you can go to. Yeah. How long is your thimble of water? Go get wood.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say what's my most annoying habit, but you already knew that. But we discussed this during the break.
Oh yeah, I wasn't honest about your most annoying habit.
Yeah, I kind of. This is like I grew up in a family of very wonderful people, but kind of get into an argument for not argument's sake, just to like have a debate,
Mm-hmm.
And plus, like most of the time, I don't really give a crap.
You're
what we're talking
explaining something
about.
we haven't even told them what it is yet.
Well, it's just arguing about anything.
Yeah, yes. But Mark
But you
brings
don't
up
particularly bring up anything.
yeah, it's not even for argument's sake, and it's not really like I like arguing for argument's sake. I like a good argument, and not even an argument. I like a good heated conversation. I don't mind disagreeing with somebody who I'm comfortable with disagreeing with, and if I feel strongly about something, I'm a pretty damn good arguer. But you become obstinate. You are like stubborn. There's just you're not, no offense. You're a good arguer to a certain point, but then you just keep repeating yourself. And there's just you're unwilling to, as the argument goes on and as the night gets later, you're unwilling to see any other side except for your own. And it is infuriating.
Sometimes when you're arguing, if you just like push a point, you get someone, they lose their shit. You know what I mean? It
Yes, do you know how annoying that is?
I know, but
But I
like to win. I'm a winner.
Great, but do that with your mom, your brothers, whatever. I don't want to do that with you because you're never going to win an argument with me about something that I feel strongly about and that I know you're wrong about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. And all you're going to end up doing is I just will lose my fucking mind. And then it just becomes a fight. There's a big difference between having a heated argument discussion and a fight. And I like a heated conversation. But when I say we're not getting anywhere, we need to stop, you have to listen because then it just turns into a fight. And I like a fight too.
Everybody does. Anyways, I'm going to say we're going to cut all that. Let's get back to this. Let's talk about
I'm
this.
not cutting all that.
I think it's a good idea. But anyways, I'd like to talk about, I think you should totally do an episode. It's in Utah. Maybe you should have a little mini series about all these Utah deaths on these camps. It's like, I know it's not.
But they already did it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That is. I just told people to listen to a podcast that is that. Now,
Shit.
Don't get me wrong. When I was
leave it out then.
No, when I was listening to it at first, I was like, I wonder if I could find a different death at one of these to talk about and say that this was inspired by the Opportunist podcast by Michelle Sutton's death. It inspired me to look into other ones and do that. So I could probably do that. But this is a great podcast. I by no means would think that we could tell this. We couldn't tell this in any better than they did on that podcast. We wouldn't. So
now I want to listen because that really interests me.
it's
like
fast. It's really fascinating. It's really good. It's only 7 episodes. It's really, really good. So I hope that I'm not pushing people away from our podcast to another podcast. But I mean,
sure it's fine.
I got to be honest. It is quite good. And I don't know. I guess
it's not like if you like recommend like a book. Like even if you're a writer, there's writers that like recommend a book and it's
that's what I meant
a good
to
book.
say.
It doesn't make it's like you're recommending it. You want
No, I know. That's what I meant to say. I said this, I think, on something recently. I've been reading a lot lately, and maybe I didn't say that, but I don't know how to say it. I'm not reading like great American classics. You know, just like, I don't know. I like a thriller, like a
casual
crime,
read.
I like a crime thriller. And so, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something, I was just looking on Kindle, and I came across this book called The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. And I was like, I'll try it. I loved it. And there's actually 2. It's The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret. Loved it. And when I finished both of them in record time, I was like, well,
in record time.
I need another one. Like I have to, and luckily,
There's
this
more.
author has written, no more in that Housemaid's. It's not even a series, just 2. But she has a ton of like crime, kind of easy read crime thrillers. And now I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm on my 8th one right now in the past like 2.5 weeks.
Whoa.
Well, when I wake up in the middle of the night at like 3, which I do almost every night, and I can't go back to sleep, I just read it on my Kindle or on my phone. And I'm not going to get into telling you about each of them because I could.
No spoiler alerts. Just maybe read them.
Yeah.
She actually told me because she's reading them. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I get like a really bogus synopsis of like the whole situation. She's all, someone was here and they did this. like, did you actually read it? But
Okay. Well, I'm not great. It's really hard to summarize like a 350-page book into a 4-minute, synopsis. Like I want to tell you all the parts. So
someone was locked in the room. Someone got killed. Like this happened.
yeah.
Very
Well,
simple.
I'll just say if anybody's looking for a good crime thriller, each of these books, here's the selling point for each of her books, what I've realized, because now I'm on the 8th one. They're all different, but each of them has a twist that you kind of don't see coming. Even you, when I told you about The Housemaid, you guessed what was going to happen and you were wrong. Each one has
That's true. It's more, well, it's like better written in like an ABC show. You know what I mean? Like I can.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways, if anybody's looking for a good crime thriller read, look up Frida McFadden. The Housemaid was great. The Coworker, 1 by 1, Do Not Disturb. There's a bunch, and I have not found one that I have not liked. So those are my recommendations. This has now become a relationship / recommendation bonus episode that people probably turned off a long time ago.
Oh, I'm sure they should. I'm sure Eggleston's pissed.
Eggleton.
Or Eggleton or Eggleston?
Eggleton. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's
Yeah, I did want to say thank you to lots of people who have shared nice comments and been understanding about the chaotic episode. There's just one I love all the messages. I've said that before, but Chanel Snyder, I hope I'm saying that right. She sent us a message just randomly. I thought it was really funny. She said, I don't have the mental capacity to find the actual place to leave a review, but I absolutely love your podcast and fuck anyone who whines about it.
Love that.
That's a great. I know that it's just like it made me laugh.
I don't have the time, but I just want to say something.
Yeah, straight to the point. It was really nice. And then, I will try to next time be more prepared with all of the wonderful messages that we keep getting from lovely people. But I think we should wrap this up. This has gone on long enough, and it's really a whole bonus episode about absolutely nothing. We gave some good recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely. I would ask you, I wanted to throw this in your favorite movie, but you don't really have one. You're all
it's impossible. I'm. You know what? That's probably one of my most annoying qualities. I'm pretty indecisive about certain things.
Yeah, it's like I know that you would love. Like I love so many movies. Like there's so many movies that I think are like some of the best. But there's like one movie that I always go back to that just seems to be the best movie I've ever seen.
No, see, for me, it's more of a
That's my favorite movie.
what?
It's The Unforgiven. Written and directed by Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman's in it, Gene Hackman's in it. It's a Western.
Okay,
It's so good.
I know that. I knew that actually, but I have multiple favorite movies because I have movies that I think are just so amazing, so well done, so well written, and I love watching them. But I'm not gonna put them on all the time. It's not a movie that I could pop on any time and watch. It has to be. I have to be in the mood.
But is there a movie that you have where, I know it's all streaming now, but even streaming, like if I'm going through Netflix or whatever, and it's just it's your suggestions, kind of knows what you're doing. But it's all The Unforgiven. I have to click on it. It's like crack for me. I'm like, oh, I'll just go ahead and watch it,
That's weird to me. No, I don't have anything really like that.
It's just one of those movies I'm like, I love it. It's such a good movie to me that I will always watch it.
Yeah,
if it's on.
I don't really have, I have lots of movies like that. I'm indecisive about if you ask me my favorite anything, I can't. How do you narrow it down? There's so many movies and books and cheeses. How do you pick one?
It's just
of
the
anything.
one that you're most. That's the one that gives me
sometimes
all the
it's like The Departed is one of my favorites.
It's a great.
Sometimes Nightcrawler is my favorite. Yeah, I know you don't like that. For most of my life, it was Newsies and Hocus Pocus. So it's I don't know. And there's more than that, and I just am not thinking of them right now. But
narrow it down. For you, I have to narrow it down. What is your best crime movie, romantic movie, drama?
I still couldn't do it.
Sci-fi movie.
I still couldn't do it.
You really couldn't have it done just crime dramas?
Probably not. No, probably
dun,
not.
Dun, 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 dun. That's a TV show.
Yeah, TV shows I could narrow down more. I have a top 5 TV shows probably. Anyways, no, I can't. I'm pretty indecisive about all that stuff. I'm only not indecisive when it comes to big decision. Should I pack up and move across the country or should I stay here? And then I just make it and then I'm done. And I don't think about it again. But when it comes to what should we watch tonight? Yeah, that's pretty hard for me.
That seems okay.
It's weird, but that's the person you're dating. So
I know. Well, now that we've worked out movies and everything.
Well, yeah, let's wrap it up. And today was a rainy day in Tucson, almost
Very
all
thundering.
day.
We woke up in the middle of the night with the windows shuddering because of the
thunder. I love that.
I didn't even think it was gonna rain today.
It rained almost all day.
Do?
Me and Henry went on a walk. I took a video. I put it on Patreon, of a neighborhood tour because a lot of people haven't been to Arizona and don't know what a Tucson neighborhood looks like, and it is way different than a Midwest or East or even Southern Georgia, Florida. It looks different than all of that, and so people who haven't been out here, obviously they've seen it on TV and movies and stuff. But,
do you think there's a lot of Tucson TVs and movies that really represent this town?
No, but I think there's Breaking Bad doesn't look like that takes place in New Mexico and Albuquerque.
It's kind of track house.
It's not that different. You see the neighborhood that Walt lives in. It's not wildly different than neighborhoods here.
No, but
they don't have a green grass front lawn.
Where we're at, it's every house is completely different.
Yeah, that's true.
These houses were built 60, 70 years ago, most of them.
Right.
And because they were it's kind of old Tucson in the sense where there was a lot open and you built a house on it. So it's brick, and then it's brick, but different, and it's just a lot of different things.
I know. Well, that's what I showed in this video that I put on Patreon, that it was showing all these different houses I was walking through, where me and Henry usually walk. I'm not going to say the street names.
Did you show the picture of the house that has the F-15
no,
in the garage?
But I'm going to try and walk by there tomorrow. I should
so
show
cool.
it. Yeah, I should do that. That's true.
It's literally cool, guys. It's a house, a garage,
there's
just
a
right down the road.
painting on it.
And it's perfectly done. And it just looks like the garage door looks like there's a fighter jet parked inside of it.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
dope.
pretty cool.
And I'm a Top Gun fan, so.
All right, let's wrap this up. I was planning to not edit this, but now I'm gonna have to edit parts of it.
Well, shit.
Okay. Well, guys, if there's anything you ever want to hear us talk about on a bonus episode, we're going to try and get back to the lookup list after this episode that I just put out today, because it was more of like a traditional, like me and Jenna. I think we stayed pretty concise, and we'll try and do some more lookup stuff. But that's it.
Well, in honor of Jenna, good night and good luck.
Good job. That was nice to say. Yeah. And thank you guys for listening. You know, go to our Patreon, follow us on socials, leave us an Apple review, and we will be back next week with another episode and another bonus. Bye.
Booyah.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.